All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at is just a point. It is not super complicated. The notation would just be that this is point G. We just label them with letters. They are specifically capital letters. I don't know why that is that somebody decided that, but it will specifically be capital letters. But you would just say point G or point A or whatever it is, right? This is called a segment. Do you see how it stops on each side? It's not, there's no arrows. It doesn't keep going. That's called a segment. You can label that as CD, and we put a little line over the top of it. Or you can say DC. So the order doesn't matter for that. The line, see, you do have the arrows on the end, so that's going to go forever in both directions. So you could name this AB, and you put the little arrows on it. Or BA, so again, the order doesn't make a difference. Or do you see the little lowercase letter? And this is where the upper and lowercase kind of matters. You could even just say that it's line D. So the lowercase letter just kind of names the whole line. Everybody okay so far? Okay. If you have a question, you're going to stop me or say, hey, you're going too fast. Just let me know. All right. And then a plane is a flat surface that goes forever in both directions. That's really hard for us to kind of comprehend going on forever. Infinity is a big thing. But think of like if this piece of paper extended forever in every single direction. That's what a plane is. So you need 3 letters to name a plane. So it would be plane, and then you can pick any 3 of these. It doesn't matter which 3, and it doesn't matter which order. So there's a lot of ways you can say this. So plane FHL. I'm not going to list out every single way you could say this because there would be quite a few of them. But can someone give me another one? Like, what's another way you could name it? Yeah, LHD, like, you know, etc. And you just have to pick 3 and any order. And then same as with the line, do you see like the little N there? You could also say plain N, like just name it that way. So we have the segments, those stop on both sides. We have the line that goes forever both sides. This is called a ray. One side stops and then the other keeps going. The order does matter for these ones. So like the order is important for those. You have to start with the side that is the point. So you could name this BA. You could not call it AB. So that does matter. And so then how could we call this one? CD. Oh, DC. Good. It has to start with the letter that has the point. Did you remember any of this from middle school, that like naming things and like the segments and stuff? Yeah, shapes and stuff. That's what geometry, it's pictures and everything and how you label them. All right, intersection is the point where the lines intersect. So lines intersect at point M is how you would say that. Is that intersection like necessarily any certain angle or necessarily like any location on the lines? No, we're not told any other information, so you can't assume anything that's not written in there. This is collinear, and it just means on the same line. So these 3 points, G, H, and J, are all collinear. And then same thing, this is coplanar. It just means on the same plane. So like if you think of the plane of the floor of this classroom, we are all on that plane. If we're all points, we're all on that same plane. There was a bird up in the air. That bird is not on this plane. It's not on this flat surface. It's somewhere else. Right? Parallel lines are on the same plane and do not intersect. And so the way that we would write that is you would say PQ. I wrote too big, so I didn't leave myself enough space here. You would say PQ, and then you put two lines, kind of like that. That means is parallel to, and then we would say RS. Or SR, it doesn't matter the order that you put that in, but if you see those two lines, that means parallel. All right, so we got parallel and then perpendicular. Does anyone know what this little box in here means? Like if you see that little square, what that means? Yeah, good, right, perfect, right angle. And how many degrees is a right angle? Yeah, see, you guys already, geometry is so much common sense. You're on me just fine. So it means that they meet at a right angle. And so for parallel, we put the two lines like this. For perpendicular, it's like an upside down T. So we would say LM and then put an upside down T. That means perpendicular to HG. So if you see that upside down T, that means perpendicular, so right angle. All right, midpoint is specifically at a certain place on a segment. It divides the segment in half. So exactly into two equal pieces. So kind of like you have a candy bar you're going to share with a friend, and you cut it exactly in half, you each get half. So you see these little tick marks? We put those in there to mean that these are the same amount. The word we use for that in geometry is congruent. You're going to hear the word congruent a ton this year. It just means equal. It's a fancy geometry way of saying equal. So we would say SU is congruent, and this is the symbol for congruent. It's an equal with a little tilde on top of it. So SU congruent to, and then how could we say the other segment? There's two ways you can say the other one. Yep, UT or TU. Doesn't matter. The only one that the order matters on is which one. For the segment, it doesn't matter. Which one does the order matter? The ray. You have to start with the point, not the line arrow that goes on.